Hello everyone, I'm Brendan Kelleher and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm reviewing the new Batman movie called The Batman, and this is a spoiler-free review. The Batman is directed by Matt Reeves, who directed the recent trilogy of Planet of the Apes films. Robert Pattinson stars as Batman, and the film also stars Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, and unrecognisable Colin Farrell as the Penguin, Andy Serkis as Alfred, and Paul Dano as the Riddler. The plot involves Batman investigating a series of murders that are being committed by a serial killer known as the Riddler. At the same time, Batman uncovers a conspiracy involving organised crime with links to his past, and helps a cat burglar named Selina Kyle in a missing persons case. What I really liked about this movie is that it doesn't waste any time, and just gets down to the business of telling a good Batman story. This film assumes you've seen plenty of Batman movies, know his background of how he came to be, and isn't an origin story in any way. The film establishes that this version of Batman is at an early stage in his career, and is so well known and regarded by the police that they actually let him investigate crimes as viewed as one of their own. When you're dealing with a character like Batman, who is one of the most famous characters in modern fiction, it's very hard to create a unique adaptation. Robert Pattinson's portrayal of the Dark Knight succeeds in being very different from previous incarnations of the character in several ways. For one thing, this movie gives you a lot of Batman, and I really do mean a lot of Batman. I think there must be more screen time for Batman in this movie more than in any other. Pattinson's Bruce Wayne doesn't even attempt to live the public life of a billionaire playboy, who dates supermodels like Christian Bale's version. While other screen adaptations of Bruce Wayne put on the Batman suit when they had to, Pattinson's version seems to be the opposite. He seems to prefer being in the Batsuit, and only becomes Bruce Wayne when he has to, and even then seems to always be in Batman mode. This guy is completely shut off from the outside world. In fact, in a way, it's surprising that people don't realise that he's Batman. This movie, more than any other Batman movie before it, leans into the concept of Batman being a detective who investigates crime as much as fighting it. While there's still plenty of action, we see Batman going over crime scenes and working the evidence in order to catch the Riddler, who leaves several clues for Batman to follow at every crime scene. Speaking of the Riddler, Paul Dano's interpretation of the character is extremely scary, and comes across as a combination of Buffalo Bill from The Silence of the Lambs and Michael Myers from the Halloween series. The scenes where he commits murder are extremely disturbing. And that's the thing about this movie. It's the closest a Batman film has come to being a true horror film. Its influences from the likes of David Fincher's Seven are obvious. It is constantly dark and raining in this city, and the Riddler is not that far removed from Kevin Spacey's John Doe. Zoe Kravitz plays Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, in this film, and again, is a very different interpretation as played before by the likes of Anne Hathaway and Michelle Pfeiffer. She's easily the toughest version of the character I've seen before, but Kravitz does a good job of making a character that is neither black or white, in a metaphorical sense, sympathetic and even slightly vulnerable. Speaking of Catwoman, one thing I found interesting in the portrayal of her in this movie is how in one scene, the camera seems to linger on her as she changes her clothes in her apartment, as Batman is watching from a rooftop. I mention this because there is so much in the news media, particularly over the last few years, about the portrayal of women in film and the male gaze. While it appears gratuitous and appears to objectify the actress, I think the scene is about portraying Batman as a voyeur, because in a sense he is, and the film isn't afraid to portray him in a negative light. It's clear that this Bruce Wayne has issues and is damaged in a way. In fact, voyeurism is a very prominent theme in this film. There are a lot of close-ups of eyes in here. Both Batman and the Riddler spy on people for very different reasons. Without giving away any spoilers, it's one of the aspects of the film that connects them in a way. While the Batman is very much a detective story, there is still plenty of action. The fight scenes are very well filmed and choreographed. And one particular highlight is the car chase, where Batman pursues a penguin on a packed freeway with a souped up Batmobile that resembles something Dominic Toretto of the Fast and Furious franchise would drive. There are also several visual callbacks to previous Batman films, like a fight in a nightclub, and a scene where the Dark Knight escapes from the police. While overall I really enjoyed the movie, it does have a few faults that prevents it from being truly great. It has to be said that at nearly 3 hours, it's probably at least 20 minutes longer than it had to be. Also, this is a very grim movie with little to no humour. While it's to be commended that it takes itself seriously, a little humour from Pattinson's Bruce Wayne would have been appreciated. While Batman is a dark character, the public image he uses as Bruce Wayne being a billionaire playboy made for some good lighter moments in the previous films. Also, no spoilers here, but towards the end, the film seems to tease the appearance of a very famous Batman villain for the sequel to come. Personally, I'd like to see some villains from Batman's rogues gallery that haven't been used in a film before. Examples of this would be Calendar Man, the Mad Hatter, or even the Man-Bat. Overall though, I highly recommend watching The Batman. It's a unique take on a character that has had many screen adaptations over the years. It's extremely well made, with fantastic cinematography, great action scenes, a brilliant cast, and an elaborate storyline that will keep you guessing from start to finish. It's well worth seeing on the big screen. So that's my spoiler-free review of The Batman. Look out for my spoiler review coming soon. And let me know in the comments what you thought of the film, and how would you rate Pattinson's Batman to previous interpretations. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed it, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Most importantly, I hope you all stay safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye for now.